These tips can be useful if you're just a first year medical student or you're. No, not like that. Okay, I got you. Being in. Why can I say? Okay. Cut.
Hi friends, I'm Amanda, this is Viral, and welcome to our channel, Match Made in Medicine. We're fourth year medical students, and we're also a couple.
In this video, we wanted to share our 5 tips that will help you succeed in medical school and also stay sane during the process. These 5 tips are just general tips that will help you in medical school, but if you're also pre-med, it should help you in college as well. So the first tip is actually to appreciate the stage of schooling that you're currently in. So if you're a first year medical student and you just got into medical school, I think it's really important that you kind of celebrate that. Obviously, getting into medical school is very accomplishing. It's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination, and it's very competitive. So the fact that you got there or are planning to get there, it's actually very impressive, and you should celebrate that. And I think that will help you stay grounded and kind of give you the self-confidence in knowing that you've already overcame so many obstacles. You're doing what very few people in the world can do, and that you're capable of kind of getting through it. So when the stressors and pressure of medical school really start building on you and you start, questioning whether you made the right choice or can I really do this, always remember that if you made it, you can do this. When I was in college, I always thought, medical school, getting in would be like the ultimate accomplishment. And then after starting medical school, I quickly realized like, oh my God, this is so hard. And can I really do this? And can I keep up with this? And can I really become a good doctor? And knowing that I succeeded in college to just get into medical school, that was, my kind of grounding factor. I used that as, oh, I made it and I belong here and that I can get through this.
Tip number 2 is to find a way to help you stay organized and sane. And so I think what's helpful to also stay de-stressed is to just take it every day at a time, walk through it like small baby steps. And what helped me doing that was to organize. So I know that not everyone is the same when it comes to organization, but I like to have a few different things that keep me on track. And so I'm a big fan of Apple products. And so I like to use the Apple Calendar that syncs my phone to my computer. I would kind of say what courses that we were taking, what lectures we had during the day, and then I would block off times that I would study or do homework, and also I block off time for the gym, working out, that type of thing. I had everything in that calendar, literally. Literally. So what I would do is once I got through the day, it would be nice to see that I had accomplished all, if not most things. And whatever I didn't get to, I could always try to rearrange and just put it off to the next day. I mean, medical school does get intense and you won't always be able to do everything every day. Life definitely can get in the way, but I think that it's just helpful to help you stay on track. Another way that I like to stay organized was the use of a planner. And so I would buy a planner that would last me the whole school year. And I would kind of color code different things like different classes or different assignments we had to do. And so I would put things in every day. It was a little more detailed than my other calendar because it would say specific assignments and specific different exams or quizzes we were studying for. And at the end of each day, I would grab my highlighter and then I would de-stress by highlighting whatever I had just completed. And it was kind of in my mind just the way that I felt like I was really getting through all of the tasks that I had to accomplish. And this is how I got through my daily routine in college and then all of medical school.
So tip number 3 is actually going to be finding an outlet from medical school or whatever school you're in. So for us, we both enjoyed working out. We try to go almost every day. Didn't happen, not always. We got lazy sometimes, just wanted to watch TV or something, and that's totally okay. But kind of having an outlet is very important. Some of the other things we did was actually kind of sports related. We had a medical school football team, a flag football team, or a volleyball team, and that was also kind of our outlet. But it's definitely important to have something that you can kind of just go to and kind of escape from all the schoolwork that you have to do, because there's always and always going to be schoolwork. It's kind of going to be endless. But you need to kind of stay on top of your own kind of wellness and your mental health and have like a hobby or whatever it is that you like to do and kind of go do it and do it regularly. And kind of going along the same lines, it's also important to kind of stay healthy. Eating a healthy diet, eating clean food will help you do better and stay more focused for all the hard classwork and lab work and all that you have. So don't eat out too much. What we did was actually meal prep. So usually on Sundays, we'll kind of cook for the week, and that'll be usually lunch or dinner. Breakfast, we would kind of make it the night before or just that morning if we had time.
So tip number 4, besides just school, find other things that could be medically related or just things that you like to do that could count towards boosting your resume.
For most schools, I think first year at least is generally pass-fail. So you should use that time to kind of get involved in extracurriculars like research or just shadowing to get exposure to various specialties like we mentioned in our specialty video.
So a good thing that a lot of programs during residency like to see are research projects. And of course, you're not going to have time to work in a lab, full commitment, but our school gave us a summer between first year and second year. And so a lot of people in our class did a research summer, and we picked someone who we wanted to work with, and we spent that summer just working on a project. It doesn't always get the success you might want, but it's something that you can hopefully talk to at different conferences and maybe get a paper out of that in the end. You want to try to ask around, see if there's any doctors who need help or residents who need help writing up a smaller thing like a case report, which just talks about kind of a rare or unusual patient. You could also just ask and see if anyone else needs help with what they're currently working on, because it won't put as much stress on you to do a full research project. And these things do take time, so something that I learned the hard way is don't get yourself into too many research projects because you'll get very overwhelmed. It's best if you kind of do 1 or 2 at a time, and once they start to wrap up, then if you really need to do more, you can ask. It's also important to just volunteer in your community. So if you like gardening and there's a local gardening club, go join in, go do something you like to do. If there's interest groups for different like medicine, neurology, psychiatry, and you think you can help out, be the president or the co-president of that group. Honestly, there are so many different ways that you can volunteer in the community. Our school had a lot of different student-run free clinics, and that was a great way that we could learn how to be doctors as medical students.
In first year and second year of medical school, our school had virtually no clinical exposure as far as real patients. We had some standardized patients, but going to these free student-run clinics, you're actually seeing live patients, and it's kind of different. So I highly recommend to get involved in those. Plus, it looks good on your resume as well.
And I think a final thing I would say, I would recommend that you find 1 or 2 things you really love and stick with them. You can hopefully do them your first year, your second year. Once you get into clinicals, it gets a little tougher, but just try to have 1 or 2 things you do longitudinally, and that looks better in the end when you apply to residency.
Our tip number 5 and the last tip is actually to get to know your class. So you should find a few people that are kind of friends, and then find a few people that are kind of your study partners. Sometimes your friends and the people that you study with aren't necessarily going to be the same people. If you have friends that like to have fun and then you want to try to study with them, you guys might not get what you need to get done. So it's important to find the distinctions, fun friend versus study friend, and kind of stick with that. We found it useful to study in groups, especially the few days leading up to the test or quiz. Initially, we could do some solo studying, but it's always good to talk over concepts with other people and kind of bounce ideas off of each other as far as, do I understand this concept the right way or not? Usually, the Thursdays before our quiz, we would kind of just test each other. We would go through all the lectures and kind of talk about them. We would take turns, either one lecture at a time or half a lecture, and then alternate, and then just kind of see how the other person is thinking about it and see if that's how I'm thinking about it and if we can learn from each other.
A lot of people in our class actually use this method where the night before, especially a quiz or an exam, they really did like to talk out loud and say, wait a minute, I don't remember this. Can we go over it again?
So these are actually our 5 general tips of how to do well in medical school. We're actually going to do another video where we talk about specific resources and how we use them to study in medical school and first year of medical school. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the video where we share our tips on how we studied.
And now it's time for us to do a little bit of wellness ourselves.